Welcome to the Tile Tick Quick Start Guide. Tile Tick is a tick-based tile movement framework for Unity, inspired by classic games like RuneScape and other tile-based RPGs. It provides a solid foundation for building tile-based worlds, movement systems, interactions, and eventually a larger RPG system. In this video, we're going to start with a fresh Unity project, import Tile Tick and get a player moving around on a grid, and then we'll take a quick look at some of the features included in this package. By the end of this video, you'll have a working scene set up and running, and you'll understand the basic workflow for building with Tile Tick. We've got a fresh Unity project open right here. So the first step is we'll import the Tile Tick package from the Unity Asset Store. We'll just come up here to the top left, click Asset Store, My Assets, and the package manager under My Assets on the left here. You just search for it, or if it's right at the top, if you just got it, it'll be right there. You click download, and then after that we'll click import, and I'll do that now. Once the package is imported, you'll see the green Cloak games folder pop up in your project browser, and you'll see Tile Tick movement. So let's get right into the scene setup. Come over to scene. First, you're going to want to create a tick manager. Then we'll add the tick manager component. We'll create another game object called grid manager, and then we'll add the grid manager component. Also create another game object, and we'll call that tile path server. Then we'll add the same component. Then we'll create a player object. And we're going to add 4 scripts. Add the first one of a unit brain. We'll add the unit view motor. Then we'll scroll up to the movement motor. We're going to assign the path service behavior, which would be right here on the tile path. And actually, we'll also add a player input controller. Now I'll just add a capsule. Give this guy a little bit of a visual model. Then we'll add a plane for the floor. We'll create a new layer and call it ground. While we're at it, we might as well make another layer for blocked. Assign the ground layer. Then in the grid manager, we're going to assign the ground layer. And then for blocked mask, we'll just put blocked. And next, we can add the debug grid overlay. Grid empty. We'll add the 3 grid overlay scripts. And then we'll just assign all the references. Then for the grid overlay renderer for the material, we need to select one, and I'll just use the grid overlay material. And then on the camera we have in the scene, we'll add the orbit camera. And on the player, we'll create a camera target. I'm just going to move it up to 1.75, or actually 1.5, so it's about shoulder height. This is all personal preference. Then we'll just assign that camera target on the orbit camera script. And the offset, we could just set to 0 since I moved the target. And now we should be good to start. If you got the same error I did, all you have to do is go to Edit, Project Settings, Player, and you'll scroll down to the input system. Yeah, active input handling, and we'll switch that to both. Apply, save. Now if we click play, we shouldn't have any error. Now we should be good to press play. We click to move, we do move. We press G on the keyboard, the grid overlay pops up. If your grid overlay is off from your player, just reset the transform, it's probably what it is. And that should snap it back to a line. We press R, we should be able to start running. Yep. Now if you want the tile overlay debugs to be on, if you go onto your player, we'll add the path debug drawer. You can change all the colors if you want. Reset my grid again. Now if we click, yep, tiles are popping up. If they're not, if you come up here and click gizmos, turn them on, you'll be able to see them. And this works very similar to old school RuneScape, where you have your true tile, which is highlighted in pink, is where you actually are, and your player model will lag behind a little bit so it's not jumping around every square, every tick. And if we turn on run, you'll see your player just lags ever so slightly behind the actual true tile is on the grid. And this is also nice to see, make sure your pathing working as you expect. Now if we want to add something to block the pathing, Just create a new object, make a cube, and we'll make a wall. Set the layer to blocked, and then I'll just scale it up. Now if we go back into play mode and we try to click around the wall, we should path nicely around it. We do. And if I actually aligned it properly to the grid, you would see it moving right across. If we turn on run, we won't ghost through the walls. We'll always come around it, no matter how far we start the path away from. And then it would just be the same thing if you wanted something like water. You select the layer to block or water if that's on your grid manager under the block mask here. If water, you could do that as well. As you can see, if we click it, we don't path to it. If we click near it, path right there. And if we move that water somewhere between pieces of land, you'll see you'll still path right around it. And if you wanted something like a bridge, find those as ground. Now we should be able to path right across the water. Let me line everything up with this grid. All right, so I have a nice little bridge here now. I have a little ramp to get up there. Pillar here. Should be able to hop down. Look up here, you'll see it paths up. That's around the corner right here. I'll show you, you can block it. If you put something here, it doesn't have to have a mesh render, so it could be an invisible wall if you're getting some weird behavior. It won't cut through that corner, but it will here because there's nothing here blocking it, stopping. And if we click over here at paths, and if we try to hop down just one tile, it's going to path us all the way around. Yep, cuts right over. Same thing when it's hopping up here. That distance is just great enough. You can just skip up there, or it's just small enough. You can tweak that settings, or just put something here to block it. It doesn't have to have a mesh. It could just be a real thin wall, just as long as it has some kind of collider. So you'll still be able to walk here, but if you have a thin collider right here, it would block, or sorry, right here, it would block that corner cutting right there. And you'll get the same logic over here at the wall. It'll allow you to hug the corners without cutting through inside of the wall with your player model. Then if you want to have some quick fun, if you go into the tick manager, you can play around with the ticks, see how everything works. By default, it's 0.6 seconds per tick. So one tick will progress every 0.6 seconds. You'll see if you walk one tile per tick, turn on run by pressing R, you'll skip ahead 2 tiles every tick. Every tick that goes off, press a tile or 2, depending on if you're walking or running. If you want it to be quicker, you can always speed up the ticks per second. Super quick. You can also pause it. So if I set this to a higher tick, 1, everything's real slow. Click the pause right here, toggle it. It's a pause the tick. Nothing will happen. You unpause it, everything will continue simulating. Thanks for checking out the tile tick movement system. If you have any questions, feedback, or feature requests, be sure to join the Discord. You can also find the full documentation and asset store page through the links in the description. I wish you guys luck in your project, and I'm excited to see what people create with this. See you in the next video.